Hey. So my name is Vincent Hendricks. I'm professor of formal philosophy at the University of Copenhagen, and then I'm director of the Center for Information and Bubble Studies. Well, in terms of citizenship and education, what we're promoting is basically an idea that we want to take back our autonomy by understanding the information market that we are in, that we are not only users, that we are also products online, that our autonomy is actually being threatened by data harvesting and mining. That's not necessarily bad in and by itself, but we should be aware of the way or what role we do play in this giant ecosystem that the information market is. And part of the solution to this problem is understanding the nuts and bolts of this particular information market and the role that we play in it. And a good example of that is, one of the things that we have been looking at, for instance, is cyberbullying online. Cyberbullying. And we are asking 15 years old, what do you think of cyberbullying? And they don't like it. The majority don't like it. But they wrongfully believe that their peers, especially their friends, are much more positively inclined towards it than they are themselves. And that actually feeds a phenomenon called pluralistic ignorance, where we collectively subscribe to a norm that we privately reject. And the way out of that is not by saying you can't cyberbully, but the way out of that is for people to understand the structure, the dynamics, and the nuts and bolts of pluralistic ignorance as a way of bolstering towards having it. And so what I promote there is basically enlightenment, education, enactment, and enhancement of an understanding of what we are in the information age. I would say that the biggest threat or problem that we have now is that we don't really understand the attention economy in which we live. Now, back in 1971, I was 1 year old at that time, Herbert Simon said that in an information-rich world, you're going to find a scarcity of something else, a scarcity of whatever it is that information consumes. But what information consumes is pretty obvious. It consumes the attention of its recipients. And since we have so much information and so little time to consume and only a very limited amount of attention, we have to understand that people are speculating in what we will spend our attention on, catching the agenda, making money, etc. So us to understand that we are living in an attention economy is going to be very pivotal in moving forward in actually getting our autonomy and getting democracy to work for the digital age. So we have to understand that our citizenship now is as real as it is surreal, or it's as real as it is virtual. It's both, right? And so we have to find our place in the new digital age as being humans with autonomy, self-reflecting, self-critical, and then we should start cooling down in always being online, because that's not necessarily conducive to our reflective thought, because that takes a longer time. So we are up against us thinking a little slowly, but being asked to have opinions about it, God knows what, all the time. And that does not feed for self-critical reflection, which is basically the stuff that good decision is made of.
Hey.